Ethan never skipped bedtime. Every night he said goodnight to his 7-year-old son, Caleb, because without it, Caleb couldn't sleep. Monsters lived in the dark corners of the boy's imagination. Ethan always promised to chase them away. That night, the house felt strangely quiet. Even the hallway seemed colder. Ethan walked toward Caleb's room, seeing soft light spill beneath the door. He paused, uneasy for reasons he couldn't explain. Then he entered. Caleb lay under his blanket, smiling.
At first glance, Caleb looked normal. His stuffed dinosaur sat beside him. The nightlight glowed softly, and the room seemed peaceful. But Ethan's stomach tightened. Caleb's eyes were too wide, too awake. His grin stretched across his face as if frozen there. "You okay, buddy?" Ethan asked. Caleb nodded slowly. The smile never faded. The shadows in the corners felt deeper than usual. The air was colder. Then Caleb whispered, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." Nervously. Caleb always asked this. It was part of their routine. "Monsters again?" Ethan said, kneeling down. "There's nothing under there." Caleb's grin widened. "Please," he whispered. Ethan sighed and lifted the bedskirt. Darkness stared back. For a moment, there was nothing. Then something moved. Two terrified eyes stared at him from beneath the bed. A small, shaking voice whispered, "Daddy." Ethan froze. It was Caleb.
Ethan's breath caught. His mind refused to understand. Caleb was in bed, wasn't he? The boy beneath the bed trembled violently, tears on his cheeks. He pressed a finger to his lips. "Daddy," he whispered. His eyes flicked upward toward the mattress. "There's someone on my bed." Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. Slowly, he rose. The nightlight flickered. The air felt thick. And above him, Caleb's face stared down, still smiling. A voice, too soft, whispered, "Daddy, why are you hiding down there?" Ethan stumbled backward. The lamp shook, shadows twisting across the walls. The thing wearing Caleb's face sat up slowly. Its movements were wrong, too smooth, too controlled. Under the bed, the real Caleb clutched Ethan's leg. "Don't let it see me," he whispered. The creature's grin stretched wider than skin should allow. "Daddy," it said sweetly, "you always check for monsters." The lamp flickered once, then died. Darkness swallowed the room, and in the black, Ethan heard two sounds: Caleb sobbing and something laughing. Ethan stood frozen in the darkness. His son's trembling grip anchored him to reality. But the laughter above made his blood run cold. The lamp refused to turn back on. Only moonlight slipped through the curtains, barely outlining the shape on the bed. "Daddy," it whispered again, voice playful. Ethan swallowed hard. He reached behind him, feeling for the door. The creature's head tilted, listening, as if it could hear his heartbeat. Under the bed, Caleb shook violently. "Please," he mouthed. Ethan knew. One wrong move, and it would notice. Ethan grabbed Caleb's arm and yanked him out from beneath the bed. Caleb stumbled, nearly falling, but Ethan held him tight. The creature's grin widened. "Oh," it said softly. "There you are." Ethan didn't think. He ran. He bolted toward the hallway, dragging Caleb behind him. The floorboards creaked loudly, betraying them. Behind them came a sound. Bare feet touching the carpet, not running, walking. Slow and patient, as if it knew they couldn't escape. Ethan slammed the bedroom door shut and locked it. The handle began to turn.
Ethan backed away, holding Caleb close. The door rattled gently, not violently, almost politely. "Daddy," the voice called through the wood. "Why are you leaving me?" Caleb covered his ears, sobbing. "That's not me," he whispered. Ethan's mind raced. How could something copy his son so perfectly? The voice softened. "I'm scared. Let me out." Ethan's hands shook. It sounded exactly like Caleb.
Ethan carried Caleb downstairs. Every light suddenly too dim, every corner suspicious. He remembered stories his grandmother told about things that hid in children's rooms, feeding on fear. Caleb clung to him.
"It came when you left. It climbed into my bed and told me to hide."
Ethan's stomach twisted. The house groaned as if settling, but it sounded like breathing. From upstairs, the door creaked open. Footsteps began again. Slow. Ethan realized with horror it wasn't trapped. It was letting them run. Ethan rushed into the living room and grabbed the first thing he could, a large standing mirror. His grandmother's words echoed, "Some things can't stand their own reflection." He positioned it toward the hallway. Caleb whimpered, "Daddy, what are you doing?" Ethan didn't answer. The footsteps stopped at the top of the stairs. Silence stretched. Then the creature appeared, wearing Caleb's face, smiling impossibly wide. It looked into the mirror. For a second, its expression faltered. The reflection wasn't a child. It was something tall, hollow, and black-eyed, and it screamed. The scream shook the walls. The creature staggered back from the mirror, its grin twitching like a broken puppet. For the first time, Ethan saw fear in its borrowed eyes. Caleb hid behind his father, sobbing. The thing's skin rippled, as if the child's face was only a thin costume stretched over something else. "You shouldn't have shown me," it whispered. Ethan held the mirror like a shield. "What are you?" he demanded. The creature smiled again, slower now. "I'm what hides," it said softly. "I'm what waits under beds until someone looks." The air changed after that scream. The house no longer felt like home. It felt like a cage. Shadows clung to corners, darker than they should be. Ethan backed toward the front door, mirror raised. The creature didn't chase, it watched. "Why, Caleb?" Ethan asked. Thing tilted its head. "Because he believes," it murmured. "Belief opens doors. You invited monsters every night, and tonight one answered." The hallway lights flickered. The front door refused to open. Ethan slammed his shoulder against the door. Nothing. The lock wouldn't turn. Behind him, the creature's footsteps echoed closer, slow as dripping water. Caleb clutched Ethan's shirt. "Daddy, it said it owns the bed now." Ethan froze. "The bed?" he repeated. The creature smiled. "Beds are borders," it said. "Above is safety, below is hunger." Ethan realized the truth. This thing wasn't just in the room, it was in the house, in every shadow beneath furniture, in every space a child feared to look, and it had been invited night after night. Ethan's mind flashed back to childhood, his grandmother sitting beside him, whispering,
"Never look under the bed if you don't have to. Some things don't like being seen."
Ethan tightened his grip on the mirror. The creature stopped a few feet away, its face still Caleb's, but flickering at the edges. "You can't keep that forever. You think you're the first, it asked. Ethan's throat tightened. What do you mean? The thing stepped closer, shadows stretching behind it like arms. Children everywhere whisper about monsters, it said. Some hide, some scream, some disappear. Ethan felt rage rise. You've done this before. The creature smiled wider. I've always been here, it whispered. Under beds, in closets, in the dark. And now, I'm in your home. Ethan's mind raced. The creature was everywhere darkness gathered. Running wouldn't work. Hiding wouldn't work. Ethan swallowed hard. We stop being afraid, he said. The creature laughed softly. You can't. Fear is how I breathe. Ethan raised the mirror again. The creature's smile twitched. For the first time, Ethan understood. It wasn't unstoppable. It was hungry, and hunger could be fought. The monster only existed because Caleb feared it. Ethan lifted the mirror one last time. The creature lunged, shrieking. Its skin peeled like smoke. Caleb's face melted away, revealing something impossible. A hollow figure made of darkness, with eyes like deep holes. It wasn't a boy, it was an absence, a nightmare given shape. The mirror trembled violently. The creature screamed, voice echoing from under every bed. Don't look at me! Ethan held firm. You're not my son. You're nothing. The creature staggered back, shrinking, but the house shook with it. Darkness poured from beneath couches, tables, corners, all rushing toward the monster as if feeding it. Ethan knew what had to happen. He looked at Caleb.
Caleb, run!
Caleb ran. Ethan stood alone. The creature hissed. You'll be lonely, just like him. Ethan's hands tightened around the mirror. He smashed the mirror into the floor. Glass shattered like thunder. A scream ripped through the house, then stopped instantly, like a candle blown out. The lights returned. The air warmed. The shadows became normal again. Outside, Caleb sobbed as Ethan stumbled out alive. They never spoke of that night again, but Caleb never asked about monsters anymore. Years later, the bed was replaced. The house was sold. Yet sometimes, in very quiet rooms, when the lights go out, people still swear they hear something whispering softly, because some monsters don't die. They only wait for someone to believe again.